Evening, folks. Sorry we're a little bit late. We're waiting on Sam finishing her hair. As you can see, she's still to finish it. But, we won't judge her on that. Hi, Nicole. Hope you're doing well, dog. So, tonight we're back with Ghost Witches. And she's just in for a wee general catch-up. See how she's been doing. See if anything exciting's been happening down in the Welsh side of the country. And Ghost Witches is going to be part of our Welsh team as well. That's kicking off in May. So we're very happy to have her on board, even though she's totally insane, in a good way. You see what I mean? Just the facial expression says it all. But it is in a good way, I must add. So, how are we doing, Forrest?
Good. How are you?
We're still breathing, so...
Yes, we're doing good.
Yep. You got some still hats prepared in the cold Scottish winter?
It has been actually quite cold up here.
It has.
I look pretty stupid with my beanie on tonight. Hi, Penny, Doc. Hope you're doing good, Doc. Thanks for coming in. So you're going to be part of your Welsh team?
I'm going to try, yeah. I mean, I'm on the edge of Wales, so it's not far to go. Yeah, but I'm up for it. I'm up for the adventures because I'm doing everything on my own at the moment, and it gets quite tedious listening to this all the time.
Oh.
Listen to the sound of your own voice.
That's it. It's internal dialogue all day, and then I go out and I film and I just talk to myself. So, you'll find me in the park throwing breadcrumbs at myself and just, generally just being a knob on my own.
Did you just say, hi, Carol, thanks for coming in, Doc. Did you just say throwing breadcrumbs at yourself? Hi, Shunchak.
Yeah, it's quite a good pastime, actually. It's amazing what lands on you to peck you.
I was just going to say that. You're about to get a lot of birds.
Are we sure we want her in a team where she throws bread at herself?
Yeah.
But at least it's not bricks. Come on.
Well,
although
I've never actually heard of somebody throwing bread at herself.
It's like that wee woman in Home Alone that stands with the bread.
The pigeon lady.
Aye.
I'm not far off that, if I'm honest. It's getting to the point of insanity because you can't really see anybody. I don't know what it's like up there, but we're on like full lockdown, so we can't go more than 5 miles out. Can't see any of my friends. Haven't hugged my dad for a year. Generally just entertaining myself, but there's only so many places you can go within that 5 mile radius.
I know.
So
I know it's a bit crap, isn't it?
Yeah, just, if I can do a video and make people laugh that day, then I've achieved something. So that's what keeps me busy.
Keeps everybody else happy as well, that. Because we all need a wee bit of fun in this lockdown.
Put some banter going, don't you? And people to comment on your videos. If you've let somebody have a happy video for the day, then great, I'll keep doing it. But there you go. That's what I'm working on.
And what is your videos generally about, Forrest?
All sorts, actually. I started the channel with the intent to just do ghost hunts with my friend Lou, but she's rather busy with her own life, and I think I've seen her twice in a year. And of course, we can't go out with friends and do ghost hunts. I'm not going to hang out dark places on my own because there's a bit of a safety concern. Even though I like to think I can look after myself and scare freaks away, I don't really want to tempt fate there. So I do a lot of urbex as well. I just try and find things in the area. I like abandoned houses and stuff like that. So it's at the moment I've got a few ghost hunt videos on there. And then last week I went found a cave which is just over the road in the forest, and did a video about this big cave that I found. So that was quite interesting. Didn't know it was there.
It does. I watched the videos on the day. Look, quite interesting. It'd be good to get in there at night. I'm reckoning,
I'm not going cave diving at night.
Well, you just sit in the car.
I'm scared of that.
I'm just going to say right to
northern. I don't think you probably know what the Wrekin is, but the Wrekin is the local hill. It's like the Snowdon of Telford. The forest starts right outside my house and goes up to the Wrekin, and all that area is mining, old mining territory. So this cave, I think, an old mining tunnel under the hill, and there's loads of craters where all the mining sort of dropped. Yeah, so it's quite interesting over there, and I find something new every time I go over there. But I am getting a little bit bored of Forrest in the Forest at the moment.
Just say hi to Yorkshire Ghost Whisperers and to Gillian and to Tracy who's come in. I don't think I've missed anybody. If I've missed anybody, then I do apologise. Shrimp saying that citizen has a GoFundMe page. Well, you know my views on him, Shrimp. I'm not going to say nothing, but the GoFundMe page, not as I've said in many lives, I don't understand why people have to put out the begging bowl to, if you can't afford it, don't do it. But that's just my opinion. You know what I mean? Gillian's saying Urbex is brilliant to do. I don't know what that is.
When you go looking at abandoned buildings and
Urban exploration, mate.
All right. Sorry, mate. Sorry, I didn't understand that one. I've never heard of that term.
yeah, you get all the urban explorers. We watch them on YouTube.
I should put Urbex. All right, urban. I'm reading it as Urbex.
Yeah, it's because urban explorers.
Well, that's what through. Sorry, Gillian. I read that as Urbex.
Because that's what she put, but she meant the other thing.
Right, we're going to carry this on again.
No.
It's really good what you see when you go exploring, because like you said, Forrest, you don't always see everything straight away. You've got to keep going and looking at these places. We're the same. That's right. We're the same over here, where we live in Ayrshire. We've got places, and just over the last couple of days, because it's been like half decent, we've been going out and see the things that I've seen that I've never knew was there before. Like where the mining bits are, same as where you are. It's just like the old mining bits, but they've kind of done it all up, and it's good. It's good places to explore down there. You find all these different wee bits.
Yeah, when we went to when I went to the cave, because over the field outside my bedroom window, you sort of open the curtains every morning. There's a herd of deer there, so we're quite lucky here. And they go into the forest. So obviously finding this massive cave in deer territory, and I'm on my own. I haven't told anyone where I am. I know I should, but I just go off on my own. I'm looking at this massive cave thinking, this is quite dangerous, really. I watch a lot of crime and forensic stuff on the TV. Maybe this isn't the best idea. Yes, let's go in anyway. And
maybe we've already been in there.
What do you think? Like, could there be a herd of deer in there? They're going to come out and skewer me in the face. I don't know. Let's see what happens. As it happened, it just dripped a lot on my head, and there was nothing in there except for me on my own. So, yeah, you don't know unless if you look. I mean, that popped up on Google Earth, and somebody just put a little tag with the cave, and I thought, ooh, what's that? So I had to go and investigate. That's how I find stuff.
There's Shrimp Shack saying, be careful of the bats. That's very shrimp.
I love bats. Not a lot puts me off, to be honest. Impending doom and hidden murderers. Let's go and have a look. Let's do it anyway. It's an adventure to tell, isn't it? So.
Urban Exploring can turn up some real hidden gems. Not done much myself, but watch it an awful lot. The only trouble up here is access, because we went to a few abandoned buildings up here, and they're all fenced off and what have you, and you just can't get into them. And hi, beep beep. And so it's a kind of letdown, really. And like that Gatlock Hospital in Glasgow is an old mental asylum in Glasgow. We went up one day, and it's a shame. It's a beautiful building, but it was a beautiful building, and you could do a lot with it, but they're ripping it down. Mm-hmm. And we would love to get inside it, but I mean, the fences is like 8-foot high fences all the way around it, and the says for I don't know if there's a photograph of it. But I've noticed that with you, Forrest, you're quite, quite daring. Let's just go for it and see what happens.
I think I don't like fear. I'm one of those people that has kind of spent a lot of time on my own anyway. I mean, I've got friends, but they're dotted around the UK, here, there, and everywhere. Oh, that's a nice building. So I've got no really, but to go off on my own anyway. So just do it. You know, you're alive once. I'm not going to sit around waiting for people. I'll just go and do it anyway. So.
But that's it, because sometimes try to organise an investigation or something, one person can't make it, or the other person's late. But if you yourself, you can just go up and just, go. Shrimp saying, sorry, no.
As well, people let me down a lot. They say they're going to do it, but they never do. So I just go and do it now.
Shrimp saying
you need to be committed.
Do we just lose that?
Yes, we did.
Aye.
Well, that's it. The other night I lost my guest. Remember? We was on and I was dumped till the night. Forrest totally dumped. Even my guest dumped. But it took me a couple of seconds to realise that he wasn't there. I was talking away and then it was like that 2-3 second delay. And I thought, wait a minute, he's buggered off. He's not here.
He's off.
He was gone. So none of the team wanted to come on panel with me. And then the guest didn't want to come on panel with me. Really makes you feel...
I did offer. I feel sorry for you.
Thankfully he came back. There's GSI in. Hi John, hope you're doing well, buddy. Thanks for coming in.
And I would have been on, but I had this one there.
That's right, you're just so noggin.
It's listening to you, that's
Shrimp saying you're going to try and... You should, Shrimp. It's a beautiful city. And there's so much history, etc. there. And it's an amazing place. We've got... I'll let Sam tell you who we've got coming in, because she was the one that organised it.
We have Jamie Corstorfin coming in, who's the manager of the Vault and City of the Dead tours in Black Cat Entertainment, and I'm so excited. I can't wait. I honestly can't wait for him to come in.
She's going to go in and... Yeah, she's going to come in and tell us about all the different kind of myths and stuff like that about the vaults, isn't he?
And about Edinburgh alone, he said there's a lot of myths that are flying about, and then people believe the myths rather than the actual stories and like what's actually true life. So he said it'll be good to come on and actually put to bed some of the stories that have been told wrong for years on end. So it'll be quite good and interesting. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, it will be interesting because there is a lot of different stories, with Grave Mackenzie. Mackenzie himself, I mean, some folk think he was a nice guy in that, but he was one of the most brutal, excuse the French, bastards that ever lived in Scottish history, basically. That's how he's called Bloody Mackenzie.
Nothing nice about him.
He was responsible for the deaths of 18,000 people, during his time. So how people can call him a nice guy is beyond me. Thanks, Scott. Got the Lergy. What's the Lergy?
Like Noel. The Lergy.
Yeah.
Right, okay. Sorry to hear you get the Lergy, John. I hope you get better soon. So, Forrest, you've been with us before, obviously, you've been there a couple of times, but I think there's some people here tonight that haven't met you before. So, can you give us a wee brief run over how you first got so freaky? How it all began?
I was born, I think that was it, really. I was born. As we know, I discovered dead stuff by Jaws, my old goldfish. And I was, yes, you might raise your eyebrows. I see that raised eyebrow. My goldfish, and I buried him, and I used to dig him up every day and take him into my mum, like, Mum, look, his ribs are showing. And I was just a bit obsessed with weird dead stuff and like poking things with sticks. And it's just who I was. I like weird stuff. I like endless murder, crime documentaries. I love ghosts. I love tarot. I love anything to do with
like that.
Paganism.
Serial killers.
Yeah, the human mind it's just how can these people be human like me, but just be so messed up in the skull? And as a job, I'm a dog trainer, so I like picking apart dog brains and like, why do you do that? What are you getting from it? So it's just like an obsession. But as for ghosts, I've never really had anybody to go ghost hunting with and get into it. until recent years, and I just I was off. Brilliant, let's do more. And then I met you guys, and I'm like, yes, can't wait. Come on.
That was me and Sam, actually, wasn't it?
You're like, yes! Now they wish they hadn't have bothered.
That's nice. She can be going.
No, I said, now you wish we hadn't bothered.
After he said no, see the Ayrshire accent, Forrest, I just cannot understand that at all. You know, they don't talk Glaswegian, so I'm buggered when it comes to listening to them. As I said, some of their sayings are right over the head. I mean, Beep Beep says, I went to my local graveyard one time and ended up getting lost. No idea how. I don't know how to answer that, Beep Beep. You know, I'm glad you get found again. You know, hi Wayne, hope you're doing well, buddy. Thanks for coming. So, Forrest, did you say you like picking up dog brains?
She likes picking dog brains. She's a dog trainer.
Her accent, I can't understand her accent.
Sorry.
Scott needs to go and get his ears checked, I think.
No, I like picking apart dog brains. I like getting into the cognition and the psychology and just.
I get that because I deal with dementia patients, so I like the thought behind it all. I get you with that.
And spending many years go on.
It's like it's looking for a reasoning behind the behaviour.
Yeah.
Etc. And then trying to narrow it down. It's like an elimination process. To find out why they're doing or why they're behaving a certain way. That's why I like serial killers. I'm a wee weirdo. I love serial killers. My dream job would to be working an asylum, like in a criminally insane, like Broadmoor, somewhere like that, to stairs and just pick.
Fascinating. And as well, me working with vulnerable young people and young adults for sort of 18 years. I came across so many different autisms and Asperger's and stuff like that. And I absolutely love autistic people because they're just so literal.
Fascinating.
They don't lie, and I just say matter of fact things, and they just get it, and they're just so honest and like, miss your dreadlocks need a wash. It's like, oh, cheers, I'll take note of that. I love anything to do with the brain and anything to do with things that we don't understand, you know, like ghosts are just fascinating and spirits. I don't know if I believe in ghosts per se, but there's definitely energies. I've definitely seen some stuff that's weird. And I'm from a very, very, very normal family. All of my family are just teachers with mortgages and kids. And then what happened here? I don't know. I have none of that.
And then there's you.
And then I was born, and then I don't know what happened. And then
I know what that's. John, I sees in the supermarket there with 30 people turn around and look to me. Piss myself. Well, at least you didn't fart. Ralph's a fart. GSI, they're brilliant team.
Ralph's farter.
And Ralph is a farter in their family.
Oh my.
Thank God it wasn't Ralph that was in the supermarket, you know.
I think I nearly peed myself watching when I was on that live listening to that story. That was hilarious.
Fart mouth. I mean, Beep Beep's in a wheelchair.
Yes.
Beep Beep's spina bifida.
Right.
Beep Beep's he's good. Always turns up. He always turns up. So you were kind of the black sheep of the family then.
Yeah. Everyone's sort of maths teachers and stuff. And then there's me, who is always art and animals. So, you know, I've got a degree in visual communications and very arty. I make stuff. I build camper van interiors. I floorboard the loft. I'm very practical. I like doing stuff and making things. Not your typical bird, I don't think, but I don't know what happened. It's just who I am.
I used to have a friend like that. Out in Glasgow, we used to see kitting out camper vans and what have you. But this guy was just, you know, I know you're insane in a good way. This guy was just insane, just point blank, you know, insane. And he bought a caravan. He spent a few £100 this caravan and just ripped it out it. And that was it. That's what he done with it. He just left it sitting in the street after that. He had big plans to do it up, but this guy was nuts. And his missus went absolutely ape when she saw the contents of the caravan lying on the street, you know, the cushions and the chairs and all the rest of it. It was all lying in the grass beside the caravan. You know what I mean? You're into the witchy stuff. Where'd we go?
Just the
Yeah,
kids
I mean-
up here. They just can't see you when the camera on when I'm out.
All right. She
I
said
think
it does
basically-
something buttons.
If a human
We
can
can
do
still hear you,
something,
Scott.
so can I.
So is it witchcraft and thing that you're into, Forrest?
Yeah. I mean, I've got lots of spell books and things like that. So for years and years, I've been dabbling, just learning. I love learning. I'm like a sponge. So I got into sort of witchcraft when I was about 19, and I just started reading spell books and getting a library together and meeting fellow witches and just it's.
So do you like pagans?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of my beliefs are pagan. I'm very earthy. I can't even kill a fly. I have to rescue wasps. Anything irritate. I can't kill anything.
Right, okay.
And I love the earth and nature. I'm always out in the woods on my own. If you watch my videos, most of them are me in the forest. But yeah, I've just got an affinity with earth animals and anything living, really. So
I love that.
absolutely love it. And the dead.
And the
As it
dead.
happens.
That's better. Sorry about that, folk. Thanks for coming in, Joy. Tell you a good sleep, buddy. Hope you get well, sir. I'll talk to you soon, buddy. Well, I was saying about your witchy stuff. Wayne's got a question here. A theory, I should say. I know we cover a lot about Pendle, and I've got my own theory on what he's saying, but what's your theory on it, Forrest?
Which offender was a bad one, pocketing money from villages by innocent women? Now, when I was at university, my end of year 2 essay was on Matthew Hopkins, Witchfinder General. So, yes, he was an ass. Any woman that, told their husband to get their own dinner or told him to shut up, witch, burner, do whatever. But yeah, he was all about the money. It was just a frenzy. He whipped the whole country up into a frenzy and condemned these women to hell, basically. So yeah, I agree with that. Yes, there were witches, but they were generally peaceful people. If you've been to Boscastle Witchcraft Museum, there's a story there about a woman she was a lovely woman and then suddenly turned into this foul-mouthed, horrible, angry shit. And she got condemned as a witch. And
Dementia.
it turns out she just had an abscess on the tooth and the pain drove her insane because they didn't have dentists and that back then. So the pain from this abscess just made her angry and miserable. But, because she was enduring that, she was a bloody witch. And it's totally different times, aren't they? Absolutely shocking.
That's right. And as Sam just said there, women with dementia were classed as witches as well.
Midwives were classed as witches. Midwives have, obviously, we're doing like Witch Week soon, and I've obviously been reading up and stuff, and it's still like fresh in my mind. But they were saying, like, when I was like doing my research, that midwives were classed as witches because they could deliver babies. Anybody that dealt with herbs or plants, they were deemed as witches because they could cure people and things like that. It's crazy.
They were healers and they were innocent people. They were victims.
Autism and stuff like that, mental illness, witch, killer.
These people struggling enough.
They were bad. No, I agree with you, Wayne. It's the case of, in the case of Pendle, it's been established now that John Law, the pedlar, actually had a stroke. Obviously, back then, nobody knew what a stroke was, so, it was termed as bewitched. But I think part of the Pendle witches were innocent, and it was a way of getting rid of a rival, whether it was a business rival, a love rival. Somebody just didn't like the easiest way to do it was to point the finger and say you're a witch. And the finger was pointed at you. That was you. It was game over kind of thing.
Like you tortured and everything, weren't you?
only one of the Pendle accused walked free. I know Elizabeth Demdike, she died in custody before she could be taken to court. The rest of them were all found guilty, but only one was acquitted and set free. But to me, the Pendle witch trials was a way for the magistrate to settle. He had a few issues with several of the families, and it was his way of settling these issues, accuse them all as witches. And they proved that with the case of Alice Nutter. She took him on in court, and she won the land rights, and his immediate response was to accuse her of being a witch. And we all know Alice Nutter she was convicted and she was executed. And plus, back then, they had no defence. Didn't have a defence lawyer.
That's right.
He was brave enough to stand up against the king.
That's it.
And if you defended a witch, it was seen as you were going against the king.
Aye, because they used to take their families as well, didn't they? So that they wouldn't just interrogate like the person; they would interrogate like the family around them as well. So,
and like in the case of Matthew Hopkins, he was driven by his ego. He was just driven. He wanted to elevate himself in the eyes of the king, basically. And the more, in his mind, the more witches so-called witches, he executed, the better he looked, the more money he got, and the higher up in the eyes of the king he got. That's just my opinion. You know,
I think he realised how easy it was to, manipulate people. Once he'd,
right.
did this big speech about, I'll rid your village of all this terrible curse, and your crops aren't growing, and your cows are ill. Okay, do that. I'll give you a £5. And he did that, and he thought, wow, that was easy. I'll tell him something else. He just picked on people, didn't he? Just pick for money. It just turned into a frenzy. And he's a dick.
It was all land, it was all land, power, and money. That if the women had these things, and they could acquire them, they would do anything in their power to then make sure that these people get killed. They did not appreciate it was a man's world, and we're really fortunate now to not be in that position through law, but there's still a wee bit of a stigma as far as some people just don't really understand what a witch kind of person is, what witches do, but they don't realise how it's just all about nature and healing. And finding love, and it's all goodness. But a lot of people do find that it's there's still a stigma.
Everybody thinks a witch is huddled over a cauldron with a big spiky green nose with warts all over their face. That's how people think of witches as well, and it's stereotypical. I've never seen a witch that looks like that, apart from in a horror film.
But that's it.
I could.
Shelley's got a right thing with witches. Shelley feels a real connection with witches. That's because she's a witch, but she's a witch, but she'll not tell you that. She's fascinated with witches, and she'll tell you that herself. Shelley could speak all night about witches.
I really do. I mean, it's just one of these subjects that I generally love. I don't know if it's because of past lives, and maybe I was a healer or whatever. You just have this thing that you're grown into a life where you feel like yourself, you're different to everybody else. You just feel like you're not connected the same way as everybody else is. That there's something else going on there, and that's what I think. I generally think I must have been a witch in a past life. I must have dealt in the arts. Helping people. I don't know. That's how I feel. And so anything to do with witchcraft, like the people that were the victims, I did my subject in Paisley, but I know about there was witchcraft where we stay connected to the ones that Sam's doing. It just upsets me that all these women were put to death, basically, just because of being who they were. Just being like normal people, and with all these people wanting their land and not wanting them to kind of take power over the men that were there at the time. It's disgusts me.
And the more
what I used to laugh at was, sorry for it.
It's all right, I was just going to say, the more they stuck up for themselves, the more they were like, witch, she's talking back, witch. And it's just like, what?
I know.
What
As soon
I
as you
used to
opened your
laugh
mouth,
at
that
was
was
how
it.
they used to say to them, if you float, you're a witch. But they've tied them to a chair and dunked them into the water. They're not going to float. They're human beings. They're not going to float. They're tied to a chair. They're going to die. And they're like, oh, well, she must not have been a witch, but she's dead anyway.
So
Like that sort of thing. It's like the torture and to confess, make them confess. Let's dunk them in the cold lock and tie them to a chair and tie weights round their feet and oh, let's tie someone to a stake and burn them.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like
Got them all in the fire. Can't make a cup of tea. Witch, get out. You know, it's just ridiculous.
that's it. It was easy. With the donkey, there was two types. You would tie you to a chair, or your hands and feet would be bound, and you'd have a rope tied around your waist, and you'd be thrown in off a bridge or something.
Aye.
And the fire as well. They were just the majority. The thing is, the majority of witches, I think, in England were hung. Scotland, it was the stake. I know down in England, if you were a heretic to whatever back in the Tudor times, that was the punishment. But the majority of witches in Scotland were actually burned at the stake.
Burnt at the stake.
England to the hanging. After they were hung, like in the case of the Pendle witches, after I think they were left hanging for about an hour roughly, they were taken down and their bodies were burned.
Mhm.
But they were actually hung. That was a method of execution. But Wayne Miles, you see, here's a question for you, Forrest. My sister is a hedgerow witch. What is one of them?
Hedge witch. A hedge witch uses all natural herbs, I think, and goes around doing very earthy green witchcraft. So it's using the earth's natural supplies for spells and rituals. In a nutshell.
I mean, the majority of victims were women. There were men executed for it as well, but I think women were picked because they were, it sounds bad, but an easier target back then. They were less likely to stick up for themselves.
Yeah, it's different now, isn't it? Because women have a voice, so everyone is equal. We all have a voice, and we have people who can fight our corner. But it's a lot more acceptable now. I don't go around saying I'm a witch, but I am into witchcraft and spells, and I do dabble and do my own thing. Yeah, it's accepted now. Doesn't matter, does it, in this day and age?
No.
I mean, in the world of paranormal, you hear so many people saying they're a witch. Do you think, Forrest, maybe there's a lot of people there that claim to be a witch that aren't basically, they just like the title?
I
This kind
think
of goes along.
it's like everything, Scott. I had a bunch of people I used to knock around with, and they bought, the folders. What you buy a part for the folder every week, and it was on Reiki healing and crystal healing. They bought the first part, and they just went around saying they were Reiki masters and crystal healers, and I was just like, yeah, you do that nose pinch. I do that quite often. Just oh dear. And it's the same with any title that you throw at yourself. I'm a hippie. Are you though? When was the last time you ate a cow? Do you wear leather shoes? What have you done? What have you done in animal rights recently? Not a lot. Okay, enjoy your McDonald's burger. So it's a term that can be loosely thrown around, I think. But there are witches, and there are serious witches. So I don't like labels. I come as I am. I'm just Forrest.
That's it. To me, that's the best way to be. It's just, saving the paranormal is quite a lot of people. I mean, a couple of people call me a medium, and it's something I will never ever tag myself as a medium. And folks says you're a sensitive. I say, well, no. I mean, we've never claimed. I've never claimed to be anything.
No.
I do pick up on spirit, as I've said many times, randomly. I don't get into every room and granddad's here, grand's here. It can be weeks apart and I pick up on something. And there's too many people these days that anybody can stand up and say, I'm a medium.
Yeah, and
You know.
there's always the thing as well. At the moment, there's a lot of keyboard warriors, right? And everyone's I've found really spiky in the last year online. There's a lot of just piranhas, and you open your gob and you've got 10 people jumping down your throat, and it's like, that's not what I said. Read the words, man. What I find is you can be the sweetest peach on the tree, and there's always some fucker who hates peaches.
That's
That
it.
is the last year for me. Like,
That's
I do
about right.
I do a tarot night, a tarot online live event tomorrow. Now I've been reading tarot for 25 years. I still need the book. I can't remember. I've got like 10 sets of tarot, and they all have different meanings for each card.
Yeah.
I can't remember which one. I don't read them 5 hours a day. My brain has got to have room for other stuff to be remembered.
Yep.
So occasionally, I'll go through the book, and you've got people that are like, oh, you don't read tarot like that. Can't you do it by heart? And don't you know your cards by now? But
I think that's partly the reason why I gave Do the Tarot up, because I did the tarot when I was younger, and I think that's why I gave it up, because I kept looking at the book. You obviously put your own spin on it, but you need to look at, because I would never remember what all the cards mean ever.
it's like, do you want a good reading or not? Because I can give you a reading and not read the book, and it won't mean jack. But if I read from the book, you'll get an accurate reading. So just shut up. You're getting a free reading. Go away.
It's very straightforward. She's very down to earth and what have you. But it's
My
the,
type of gal.
it's the best way to be. With keyboard warriors, we've had one or two in our time, shall we say, you know.
Yes.
But that's all they are. They sit there and press a keyboard every day. And they'll not get the kahunas to get up and say it, even come on alive and say it to your face, you know, then shut the hell up. You know, that's it.
Anything that comes out of my face, I will say to a person. And I'm very careful when I write, because you can't tell sarcasm in sentences, and you can't tell little quirky jokes in sentences. So I read it through, and but when I talk, it just comes out my face. You'll always know my mood by how this looks, and I'll always be honest. I can't fight idiots. I can't deal with idiots anymore. It's just like, just go and do something else, will you? So,
it's really been bothering. I mean, we've been called fake.
We have.
It's made me laugh when we've been called fake, because you think, fake what?
Fake people?
Well, that's it. I mean, you can look through all our lives way back to day one, and not once have we claimed to be anything. So it kind of, you sit there and think, not you give these people a time of day, but you sit there and think, well, what am I fake? Because I've never claimed to be anything. So how the fuck can I be fake?
You're a fake paranormal investigator.
I know.
Fake bald, man. Fake bald.
Don't forget the bald.
Fake bald.
It's actually a shower cap he's wearing.
Aye, that's funny. A couple of comments here I want to put up. If you've seen season 3 of Haunted House Pendle, what do you think the two witches were actually doing, good or bad? I don't know if you've seen it.
Right.
I haven't.
I'll give my own opinion on that, but obviously I'm not going to slate, as you know, we're avid followers of the Haunted Hunts, and I talked to Danny and that, what have you. I've got my own opinion what they were doing, but I'm not going to say anything about it. But if any of the girls want to give their opinion.
Well, Sam, you can go first, Tim.
Come on.
That's a good idea.
I don't know.
So they were talking in the
It was just very strange. I love Haunted Hunts. Absolutely fantastic. It's really good, and it's no them. But I just couldn't understand the witch part on it. I was like, I couldn't work out what they were doing. And to be honest, I don't think Danny and Charlie could either, because they're kind of like, what's going on here?
It seemed to be like they were having a conversation about the investigating team, about the Haunted Hunts team. They were actually having a conversation in amongst, like, to each other, and it was coming through the spirit box. And and it just, to me, it seemed like two kind of older women. And they were having a conversation about the team that was there investigating, which was Haunted Hunts, like Danny and Becky and Danny and Rox, and they were just having this conversation about them to get rid of them. Basically, I think that's what I think was going on.
Well,
Was that question talking about the two witches that were there to summon, or the witches that were coming through the spirit box?
the two that were there to summon, and
Right, the two that were there to summon.
Right, okay. Modern
I,
day witches.
I think they were there to try and summon. Whether they were real or not, I can't say. But I think they were there to try and summon up the spirits with the help of Danny and who was it? Was on Charlie was in them as well.
Charlie was in them.
Wayne was saying, I think it was media from a long time ago to stereotype witches as bad. Even today, like Halloween, they don't really show the good side all the time.
That is very true.
What do you think of that?
The big green-nosed witches with the straggly hair and warts on their face.
I think that's a kind of impression, Peter. As soon as you say witch, you think of the well, I know I immediately think of the witch was in Snow White with the black robe and the crooked nose and the big wart on the top of it. You immediately think of that, and I think the media has got a lot to do with it. What do you think, Forrest?
Well, my dissertation was on depictions of witches in paintings from the 14th century to present. So back in the 14th century, in all the lino prints and the etchings and paintings, witches were horrendous, skinning people, them alive, all that sort of thing. And if you look at the present day, in the last 100, 200 years, witches are these ethereal, beautiful women with swords and, animals around them. So it's quite interesting that perhaps the witch trials and Matthew Hopkins, that was then. And it's just become gradually more acceptable through the centuries. And now witches, I still had to tell the little girl here, my best friend's little girl who's 5, she was going on about witches last week. And I said, they're all good witches. And her little face, she's like, what? It's like, not all witches are bad. So it's changed a lot through the centuries. And the witch trials obviously just condemned women as naughty old hags, spinsters, probably like myself. And these days it's seen as a lot more beauty. They entice men. They're very romantic. You have no power when these beautiful women are around, and they cast their spells and they're all glorious. So that's my 2 pence.
Okay, I've got a question, and I'm going to look a right idiot asking this, but you don't ask, you don't find out, you don't get. A shy Wayne gets as someone.
The sweeties.
I mean, where does the word witch originate from? Any ideas?
Let's have a Google.
That's what I was just gonna do.
Because also they're called witches. But where does the word witch actually come from?
I
don't know, but
any knowledge.
Comes from Wicca.
Okay, it's a abbreviation. It comes from the word Wiccan.
Well, while you are looking that up, I just thought I would share my wee nose with you. What do you think? I mean, I think I fit the witch role quite well, do you not think?
Well, there's missing is your heart.
I'm working on that, Sam. I'm working on that.
Obviously, you did the heart. Instead of the word Wiccan.
Yes, Old English.
Old English. I know I probably look like an idiot, but actually I look like an idiot in other lives, I think. So, tonight will make much difference according to these ladies. So, what did you cover? What was that comment for Wayne? Some people think I'm weird being a paranormal investigator. I'm not a medium, but I can pick things up. Wayne was actually the guest that disappeared on me Forrest, but then thankfully came back. But you do, some people say, oh, you're a medium because you can sense spirit, but that's not the way, that's not the way it works. This is what you can't, anybody says, I'm a medium, I'm an expert, excuse the French, bollocks. There's no such thing as an expert. I mean, I've heard people in some lives saying we're expert paranormal investigators. I load of tosh.
Well, you say there's no such thing as being an expert. I'm an expert of sleeping.
Aye. You can't get any better than sleeping, but all these, folk out there that say I'm an expert paranormal investigator, crap! Because you're always learning.
Speak for yourself.
There's always going to be, shut up, There's always going to be something that you learn as Yorkshire goes for. Every day is a school day, Scott, no question is a silly question. Thank you very much, buddy.
Is that not Andy?
Oh, actually, that's Andy in custody. Sorry, buddy. That's Andy in custody. What's that one? He's also put, you must be fake at being fake. You need to try hard to pull over the eyes of the other fakers. Oh, there's a few fakers out there. Andy, or Kirsty, whoever's doing the typing. There's quite a few fakers out there, but when we get, it's Andy. When we get called fake, I was like, are you serious? You're kidding me on? Fake what? No idea. No, absolutely no idea what it's meant to be. So, Forrest, do you pick up on spirits hanging about you?
I smell things, which is the most rubbish ghost superpower, I think. There are things that I sort of go, whoa, wouldn't go in there if you paid me right now. But no, I don't. I think it's because I'm so. I won't say I'm fearless because that's a label. But I don't fear a lot, so I will just go in and go, right, what's going on? No, I don't feel anything. I have had things happen to me, and I have pooped my pants and hid under the duvet, So I'm not completely feared. But when things are sprung up on me, and I'm in a quiet moment in my bed, and it's like, and you run off squealing like Tom and Jerry's mom down the stairs, things like that have happened. But I generally just walk in and just think, oh, this is a load of bullshit. There's nothing here. And that's why I got into this, because I want to be exposed to more, just to see if I can pick up on anything. And I'd love into a house. I'd love somebody to take me into a house that they know a murder or something has happened in a room. Not tell me anything. Just let me go in just to see if I can go. Yeah, because I've got good perception of a lot of things, but I haven't been exposed to that so much. So it's a learning curve. But I do smell things. I'll get smells, really strong smells that nobody else seems to smell, and I don't know whether that's just me or I don't know.
So what? I'll start again.
What?
I'm going to about 12 o'clock. I'm going about midnight. Don't worry. What's your kind of favourite aspect, the paranormal or the witchy stuff? What are you kind of more into, or is it a kind of even balance?
Oh, well, the witchy stuff is a solitary thing for me, and it's got kind of meditative tendencies. So when I'm doing witch stuff, I'm on my own. I've got my cauldron out, I've got my herbs, I've got my lotions and my incense, and it puts me in a headspace. So it's quite a peaceful place to be when you've got an evening alone. It's quiet and you just do that, and it's like positive manifestation and stuff like that. Ghost things, I would prefer to have a team, because you can bounce off each other, and one person picks it up, another one picks that up.
It's like the energies.
So I like to know what other people are. No, I do. I like to know what other people are picking up on. But yeah, witchy stuff for me.
As you're saying that, Forrest, me and Sam went to the Mary King's Close in Edinburgh, and we both, at the same time, we were only there on a tour. It was just a tour of the Mary King's Close, learning about the history and stuff. And we both heard the same thing, and it was like a lady sighing. Now, it would be interesting to know actually what age Sam thought this lady was, and I've never really spoke about this, and I don't really want to kind of say it and influence each other, but it'd be quite interesting to know, if you could pick up in the same kind of age kind of thing.
It was
I don't know,
strange because it was strange. It's when we were in Annie's room, the little girl's room.
Yeah.
We were looking into her room. I was at the front. Shelley was behind me, and literally just in my left ear, it was like, oh. And I turned round and looked at Shelley, and just as I done that, Shelley was looking behind her as well. So she'd obviously heard it at the same time.
Yeah. I think that's it.
Yeah.
You want to sort of know that somebody else with you's heard it as well, and it's like, oh, I didn't make it.
Because I says to Shelley, "Did you hear what I just heard?" And she's like, "Well, what did you hear?" I was like, "Well, you tell me first," because I didn't want to come out and say what I'd heard in case she hadn't heard it, and it's like she says to influence. But no, I would have thought.
Don't tell me the age. I don't want to hear this because I thought about this last night. What age I thought, and I don't want you to say it and then I can hear it. How do I switch my? Can you switch your mute off in this?
Nah.
No. Right. Okay. Well, that's not going to work. How can we do that, Sarah? How can we tell secretly?
I don't know. You'd need to leave and then come back in.
What is are you wanting Sam to tell us what age do you think she would?
Aye, without me hearing it.
You think?
Aye.
Right, Sam, put into the you mail me.
All right, aye, we could do that.
Right, okay.
Right, I'll do that then as well, right?
Right, and while we're doing that, Shelley, where did it go? There's a comment there. Andy says, I figured out
what Shelley figured out the other day. That we see when you're on the Facebook chat, you can swap between like when I'm on the Facebook chat, I can swap between me and Paranormal History.
That didn't work for me though because it ended up just doubling up my comments, and then I had to keep coming back out and keep coming back in. It's a bit of a bum, to be honest.
Andy says, take your headphones out. Why do we not think of that one? Take your headphones off.
That would have been bright.
We like to be technical about things.
That would have been a better idea, Andy. Thank you for that, buddy. The woman in our team, apart from you, Forrest, you're not on it yet. No, you're doing there. Not you're there. You're a wee bit slow sometimes, my man. I didn't want to suggest that. I'd throw that first as well.
Did you nothing?
You know what I mean? So, we're comparing ages here, aren't we?
Yeah, Looney Tunes.
Aye, just to see what we don't know what age this spirit was, but it was definitely.
Does it need to be a specific age, or can it be in an age range?
I would try a number, Sam. Me cheating.
I haven't no idea what's going on.
Right, so Forrest, like we were at when we heard this lady sighing, right? You know how you say when you go in investigations, it's good to have a team so that you can pick up in the same kind of energies and whatnot. And so based on that, I had an idea last night of the lady that had did the sigh in the American clothes, and I thought about an age, and I was just thinking, just a wee experiment to see if Sam could pick up roughly the same age as what I have picked up on.
I'm with you.
And hopefully that helps everybody else because they'll probably be thinking the same. What is going on in here?
I have the answers.
Right.
But I'm not telling you.
Oh, come on!
You're a bum.
Are we close?
No. Well, you're talking decades here, though. You're talking, Shelley said 23, right?
Right.
Sam says, pause for effect. Sam says, they're all sitting there waiting. As we're watching one of these shows and they've got the envelope and you're just wanting them and they take
and you have won.
Aye.
I take it must be that good then. We weren't that close, Sam.
You won a Chinese token. And Sam said 75.
What?
75-ish.
Well, that's weird. That's all. I mean, I don't know.
Sorry, Shelley. Ish. I forgot the
It was a
ish.
great. Ish. That blew that man out the water then. That was just a.
No, I didn't think it was young. I thought it was more like, I thought it was like more elderly, and the kind of sigh it was as if to say, for fuck's sake, no again, what you's all doing here now? Like,
Well, possibly, we'll never know. We'll never
Like,
know.
I'm
we couldn't
fed
have
up.
been any further. That was totally opposite ends of the spectrum there, wasn't it?
I enjoyed having a wee bit of power there. Now I know how a game show host feels like.
Da-da-da.
Anyway, back to tonight's show.
Would you do that again? Another week? We'll do that again. No, anyway, is Forrest frozen and she's just really good at sitting still?
I think she's just really good at something.
That answers that one, doesn't it?
She's playing musical statues.
Right. Forrest, do you believe in curses? See when your eyes blink, it gives you away.
No. In the short answer of things, I believe there's dark people out there that will wish harm on others. Don't get me wrong, but curses, no. I do believe you can be very protected from them. You know what you're doing. No one can curse you.
No.
Fuck off. So no, I don't believe in curses.
I love her.
It's like, no, you're not getting to me. You're a dimwit. Go away. But you know, people try all the time. But tell me this, what is the point in witchcraft when there's a rule of 3? Whatever you put out there, which I like to put out, laughter, love, all the bright things.
You get it back threefold.
I get it back. It's great.
Yeah.
Why on earth would you do a hex? Why would you do a curse? Why would you do that? It's just going to make you a more poisonous, venomous, angry, nasty person, isn't it? So what you reap, you sow, etc. So curses to me are just like poo, poo, poo. So no, I don't believe in curses, to be honest with you. I believe there's just nasty people that put out nasty energy.
Yeah.
Not so much curses.
So I've got a question for you. I'll put you through the ringer tonight, though. Question after question.
I like questions.
Good.
It's like
Good.
question time.
That's like question time, even that one.
Mastermind.
Can I ask for a question, please, ladies?
No.
Unbelievable. Sorry, I apologise for their interruptions, Forrest. You know, you'll get used to them. So I've watched, you know, I'm not going to name anybody, but I've watched these other groups that says, you know, there's trouble at a house regarding a spirit. And a couple of, you know, so-called witches says, well, we'll go and help. We'll go and cast spells and get rid of them. What do you think about that? Do you think that's possible, or do you think it's a load of pahookie?
Again, it's all the power of the mind, collective energies. You know, when there's 500,000 people praying for the fires to stop in Australia, there's a lot of energy praying for that to stop. It's a collective force. It's an energy. So, you know, if I go into a house which has somebody believes there's a dark force or a demon, I'm not saying demons don't exist. I'm still finding all this out. You know, I'm not here to say yes, that's true, yes, that's false. People believe different things and people have different experiences to me. But if somebody wanted the house cleansed, to me, it's a very therapeutic and cleansing thing to go in with your sage and your incense and your oils. And do the cleansing. It makes that person feel better. It, you know, open the windows, you spread the light. Your positive energy being in there may affect them in what they believe. So, yeah, there's a lot in the power of the mind, and there's a lot in energies. I don't claim to know it all, and I never will, but I do believe what you can give should be light and love and peace. You know.
Yeah.
It's like a bit cliche, but I don't ever want to harm anyone, and I don't ever want to put anyone down and make people believe there's nasty shit in their house. It's like, cool, if you think that's cool, I'll do a cleansing, and hopefully it'll make them feel you know.
Yeah.
So there's so many aspects to Wicca and psychology and curses and, you know, dark forces. But we have the power to make choices in our mind. Who knows? I might go to a haunted house one day and totally be proved wrong, and it's full of horrible, nasty shit that, you know, scratches people and stuff like that. I haven't so far, but I'm open to it.
I think Scott and Sarah have frozen.
No,
No,
No.
because it's sitting still.
just sitting still out.
I'm just saying.
Sending-
No, because I've heard a couple of people saying, "Oh, such and such house is haunted, and there's 10 different demonic spirits in it and stuff." And you say, "Well, I'll grab my bag and I'll come over and I'll help you out," kind of thing. To me, they make it sound more like Ghostbusters. If that makes sense.
I'd go and have a look for them. I'm the person that would go, okay, I'll come and have a look. And weird stuff does happen. But there's a lot, isn't there? Like there's a stream under the property, or running water, or limestone and quartz underground, and ley lines. There's just so many aspects to all this sort of occult stuff. So,
I mean, there's Wayne saying, "I like investigating places say are meant to be bad or evil, so they say I haven't been scared yet." That's Wayne if you're going to be doing Hampton Court Palace with Wayne, which I'm really looking forward to. So it says about demons. What do you think of the word demonic? Do you think maybe too many people jump on the demonic name too quick?
Again, it's subjective, isn't it? It's there's a place you can hang out with kids called White Ladies Priory, and it's just down the road, and it's a room, it's supposed to be a ruined convent. It's like a little building, and we used to hang out there all the time as kids, and we'd heard all these stories about people jumping on your car and breaking your windows and spirits. We used to have a campfire there every weekend, camp out with our tents, climb on the ruins. And to me, it's so peaceful. We used to sit up on the top and watch the sunset and the sunrise. And I was only talking to somebody last week. They said, go to White Ladies for a ghost hunt. I was like, done it. Nothing there. Nothing happened. It's really peaceful. No, I'd never go there. It's demonic. There's something bad there. It's like, no, it's really peaceful, beautiful place.
If you believe it in your own mind, then you're going to find it, ain't you?
I think sometimes I'm so positive in some aspects that I'm a real killjoy for anyone that wants to believe there's demonic stuff, because I just think, no, I don't get that vibe. I don't know whether it's just in my head or whether these things exist for other people. I don't know. It's really interesting to me, though.
I mean, there is. I wouldn't use the word demonic. This is my opinion. I use the word negative spirits. As I said, if somebody was negative and evil-minded in this life, they're going to carry that on, when they pass over. They're not going to turn into Saint Michael as soon as they leave this earth, And I think it's more doing the negative spirits rather than the. It's not that I don't believe in demons. It kind of jury's out with me when it comes to demons and stuff, But I think it's more a negative thing, a negative energy, just a bad bee basically. But people jump on that's demonic, that's demonic and what have you, and it's just to me it's just no right.
I think fear as well induces you into feeling certain things. So if you start getting that fear is like a seed, and that seed grows fast, and then you start going, oh my God, no, there's something in there. No, I'm not going. Oh my God, get me out, and it escalates really fast. And because I work on my brain, so I'm always like, no, there's nothing in here, and everyone's like, yeah, there is, and I'm like, where? Show me. Maybe I'm the worst person to probably bring on a ghost hunt, because I'd be like, no.
I don't think
sometimes
so.
need a logical person there to bring you back down to earth a little bit, because you can get quite caught up in your emotions and everything are heightened anyway, and your senses are heightened. So it is quite good to have someone that will maybe look at the bigger picture and say, well, actually, wait, the new, calm down a wee bit, look at what's happening, look what's not happening, that sort of thing.
Aye.
rather than we're going to a haunted location. This place is 100% haunted, and look at all the spirits.
Yep. It's
I'm
like when I
always
lived in a house for. Sorry, Forrest.
I'm always slightly disappointed when I've been promised loads of ghosts and activity, and
Right.
I sort of ancient ranching and nothing happened, and then I went to the Skirridin and nothing happened, and I just thought, I'll keep going. It's
A
still
lot of the times
exciting.
it will be like that as well, though. Getting a lot of times you'll go to a bit and you'll think, what's happening here? There's nothing actually in this environment, but then you can go at a different time and then it'd be completely different, completely off the scale. But I was going to say, I lived in a house for like 9 months, and that full 9 months at that time that I lived in that house was pretty much terrifying. I don't know how I lasted as long in that house, but generally, because we never really understood what was happening, we were always so feared, but we never ever left. We just stayed there. We just kind of hoped it wouldn't happen again. But all these different things were happening, like getting touched, light bulbs getting light shades and stuff like that getting smashed, doors flying open, and just this constant flow of activity in this one house. And if that had normally you would just think that right, there's a poltergeist here, or there's something really, really no good in this house. It's just a horrible feeling. But when it turns out that it's actually just an old man, an old male spirit that used to live in that house, I've never, ever, ever felt like I've never felt fear of the the paranormal side, because it's easy to jump on the fact and say that it's demonic or it's a negative spirit, but it's not normally always like that, because people that are trying to reach out are normally trying to reach out for a good reason, to help out. And I think it's important to for people to know that. And I think if there is anything bad or negative, it's caused by the people that's the intention that's wanting to bring these people forwards. You know what I mean? These negative spirits.
So aren't you? You'll get positive, you'll get negative, you'll get whatever they were in life.
It's like you say, the power of three. If you're going to give it positivity, you're going to get positivity back. But if you're going to be a negative energy, you're going to get it back tenfold as well, just the same.
And something I do is question why they're doing it. Like, why does it feel angry? What is it that I'm doing that's making you angry? That's right. I like the part in death and life, so it's just such a learning curve to me. And like I say, I won't say there's ghosts, but there's definite energies attached to buildings. But all the ones I've gone to hoping to find something, I've not really found anything. It happens to me when I least expect it. I get ear whooshed. That's one of my things. I get ear whooshed. And I'll just be sat there chatting to a mate and suddenly think she's thrown a pillow at me. It's that strong, it hits me. And it's like, whoa. And they'll look at me and go, what's the matter? It's like, you just threw something. It's like, no. And it's a proper whoosh in one of my ears, but it feels like something just smacked me. I don't know what that is, whether it's somebody trying to tell me something or listen, but I get some weird things like that happen.
But I like that.
With haunted locations, I think a lot of haunted locations are built up by reputation. For instance, take Greyfriars again. It's called the most haunted graveyard in the world, and it's got so many stories attached to it. So many legends attached to what have you. We've been there dozens and dozens of times, and we've never felt anything negative in it at all.
One night.
But one night, and I mean, we've been there actually well over 100 times, and we got one night. It was like a male presence right in front. Wasn't too far away from Mackenzie Tomb. It was in front of Mackenzie Tomb, maybe 20, 25 feet away from it, and it was a male presence. Sarah felt quite warm. It
was weird. It was like it was like really warm right in front of me. But when Scott came over, it went away, and then the minute he disappeared, it came back, and it was just really weird. But even then, it was nearly like a frightening experience as such.
No, that's what I mean. We've never been and, we ran out the gate and headed straight for the car and never came back there again. It always feels very, very peaceful.
No, you can't say that. Canongate that night, I was
Canongate was, Canongate was just one of these feelings that we're not wanted here. The further we got away from Canongate, the feeling dissipated. Disappeared, and that was it. We went to Greyfriars after it, and everything was fine. But I mean, it's a Greyfriars, even the Mackenzie Poltergeist has got a reputation, blah, 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 even though there are a couple of fruitcakes out there that say he was a nice man and all the rest of it, which to me is a load of, BS,
A load of baloney.
Aye, people need to learn if they're going to talk with somebody, they need to learn the history behind the person. Just my thoughts. They can't, a guy who's, he basically slaughtered 1,200.
If not more people.
Well, 1,200 Covenanters, basically just slaughtered them. To me, it's going to be one of the biggest serial killers in history.
Of his time, definitely.
Of that time.
Yeah.
I mean, because that's what he done was basically, he left them with the elements, and those that survived the elements, he tortured them and then he hung them. There was no ifs or buts. It was a case of you're going to the end of a rope, pal. And they were innocent. I mean, they died basically for what they believed in. Because they believed a different religion to the King ones.
But he's a good guy.
And, there are people who think he's a gentleman and all that. Did I say that out loud? The P word. So, do you know what I mean? Did I actually say that out loud? Oh, well.
Yes, you did.
But is there anywhere you wouldn't go, Forrest?
Back to my ex-boyfriend.
I'm talking about the paranormal, no your love life. That's a whole other show. You know what I mean?
Well, he was dead from the neck down, so, and the neck up, actually. Where wouldn't I go? No, I don't think there is anywhere I wouldn't go, because to me, I want to experience everything. I'd love to go where somebody thinks there's something demonic. I'd love to go somewhere that's supposed to be horrific and scary. Yeah, great, let's go. When we going? What time is it? Woo! Because I want to experience it. So no, I've not been scared yet. I do get scared, but it hasn't happened yet. I did get locked in a cell at Shepton Mallet prison for about half an hour on my own, and I didn't really like that very much. But I just felt it in my brain, man. I was like, no, you're not coming near me. No, I can feel you in here. Don't like it. You stay over there and you'll be all right. And nothing really happened, but I did feel a very oppressive force in that. And I was just sort of sat on the floor on my own, just thinking, why did I agree to this? I like that. I like the feeling of fear. It's like
pushing yourself to get that.
But it's just interesting. Things do creep me out, and I want to be exposed to more of it. So I'm not too keen on enclosed spaces. So like the catacombs in Paris. I don't think I'd deal.
They were quite spooky looking. The catacombs, weren't they?
Sort of closed in. I'd do it, but I wouldn't really be that happy, and I would have the fear factor. It might be completely different for me if I've got the fear factor. So that's what I'm aiming for,
We've got quite a bit planned for after, the restrictions are up, and once Highgate. What about Highgate Cemetery and Whitechapel, stuff like that?
I did Highgate 3 years ago, but in the daytime. I don't know if it's open at night, but it was a real interesting place, that was. And you've got the graves, and then you go back and there's ivy-covered graves, and then you go back some more and there's graves that have been long forgotten. That was fascinating, really fascinating place. And what's the one in Bristol? Arnos Vale in Bristol. It's like it's like Highgate, but it's in Bristol, and that's really interesting as well. Massive place.
To put that on our list as well. Our list is with that for after restrictions are. We're going to keep those as well.
We're never going to be in.
And we're never going to be here. We're never going to be here. Doing so.
Scott, you should have got that camper van your pal had.
Aye, for a ripped the guts out of that would be good. Well, we've got a big tent anyway, do you know what I mean? But there's a place in Chepstow that Natalie's been there a few times, the Savoy, I was going to say the Savoy Centre, that's in Glasgow. The Savoy Theatre is called. If you go in our group, you'll see the photographs there. And I was talking to her last week about it, and she said, we need to go down and do an investigation there. It's maybe really, really active, and they've had a lot of, results. I think she's been there two, maybe three times. So that's.
Excited.
I think you've got her excited.
Well, we could probably stop us at the border. Do you know what I mean? But we'll be doing that, and you'll be coming along anyway. Obviously, being part of our Welsh team, you'll be there as well. But it looks, I've seen quite a few photographs. You'll see the photographs on our Facebook group, Ghost Ramblers. If you go into that,
Okay.
You'll see all the photographs. They're really, really, really good. But also, I'll get used to hooked up in a platonic way. I don't mean anything else for that. Don't you bother saying a word.
Okay.
I mean, don't you bother saying a word.
Me.
I says I'd get Forrest and see what I mean? Just
Aye, I was waiting for the row there. It's usually me that gets a row.
no, you were actually quiet. I think you were nodding
You
off or
can't
something.
not think that though. When you say I'll get someone hooked up with someone else, you automatically think, oh,
No, you wouldn't.
Aye, they've gone on a date.
exactly.
No. So if I was to say maybe, I'm off next week, Sam, the two will hook up and we'll go and get that cemetery. We'll go and have a look at that cemetery, for instance.
I'd say you're taking me on a date to a cemetery. Aye, great fun.
Who said love is dead? Or whatever.
I'll be awfully
You know-
quiet.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Use just that's all your dirty minds. Just getting into overdrive there. I mean, get Forrest and Natalie together.
But you must have thought it as well if you told me to shut up. So
No, because I seen the smirk coming in your face.
Forrest's like, what the hell are you talking about, Baldy?
No, Forrest understands every word I say. Don't you?
Smile and nod.
That's-
Yep.
What I was saying was, I'll get you together with Natalie, so you can have a chat, a conversation. All right, did I say clear enough there?
Yes.
Conversation. Nothing else, you know what I mean?
Quite well. Yes. I agree.
Okay. All right, that's fine. So on that note, folks, I will wrap it up for now. Forrest, we'll just hold on to you for a few minutes after we go off, if that's all right, Doll. Yeah, she understood me.
Yes, I think she's
Smiling
I'll be-
nod. Smiling.
Smiling. nod. Yeah.
In other words, Forrest, don't go anywhere.
Okay.
Okay, right. So thanks very much for coming in, folks. I'm back tomorrow night with Jennifer from our USA team. Jennifer's going to be telling us all about Alcatraz.
Yep.
I'm really looking forward to it. I've been absolutely for a wee while, and so Jennifer's coming in. As you know, Jennifer's a kind of history buff as well. She put me to shame on her wee history live a couple of weeks ago, so she'll be in tomorrow night, and then Monday at 9 p.m. starts off with our Witch Week.
Yep.
A full week
Yes.
of witches.
Going to be a good one.
And we'll round it off next Saturday with Natalie from, I was going to say Ghostbusters. From Ghost
So why don't we get Ghost Witches up as well then on
And
Saturday?
Ghost Witches will be joining us on the panel as well. And possibly we're hoping to get Natalie's friend Carla in, who is a very talented medium. So hopefully
Good stuff.
you'll be seeing Forrest a few times next week as well. So that's next week. And hopefully we'll see you tomorrow night for Alcatraz. So take care for now, folks. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye. Bye.